Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Florida Boy. This is my ADC channel. Today we're going to be having episode 2 of Flashaholics Anonymous, and we're going to keep it simple. We're just going to kind of progress as we continue along this segment. So today we're going to be taking a look at brands. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to break this down. So if you are brand new to the flashlight community, or you're just looking for more information because, you know, we're humans and humans thrive for information, for knowledge. That's what we do. So with this video, we are going to be taking a look at just some of your more prominent brands in the flashlight world. No, I don't have an Okluma on the table. There's a couple other brands you may not see on here. We are getting started. We are just, you know, kind of putting our foot through the door and getting into the flashlight world. That's how this segment is working. And we will just work our way up into the fancy stuff. So right off the bat, you're going to see I have some nice little flashlights laid out across the table. And they're all different brands, shapes, colors, sizes, you know, just a little bit of everything. So this is a common question. I get a lot of comparison questions, and you know, it's usually boils down to, you know, my friend or, you know, this family member said, go for this brand. This is the best brand. You know, branding is one of those things where, yes, I do have my loyalties to specific brands, but it's because I've used their lights a lot and I love their lights. It's not necessarily because someone said, hey, this is the best brand, you should like it. That's not how I that's never how you should get to that conclusion. You should get to that conclusion by, you know, going out there, trying stuff, you know, buying, playing around. If you have the funds, buy it, try it, see if you like it. In the flashlight world, I will tell you a lot of brands or a lot of lights, you kind of get that buy once, cry once feeling. Because, you know, if you're just now getting here and you look at some of these lights and you're like, oh, those are cool, you know, I'd pay $20 for this. It's a little different. It's like when I first got started into the flashlight world, it was very different. We'll just say that. You know, I started off with an Olight i5T. I still love Olight, and that, you know, that little sentimental factor probably is a little bit to play, but I do like Olight, and there are things I don't like about Olight. So, like I said, it comes down to what you like, or, you know, I do have some people that I talk to that will pick a brand based on operation, in terms of like use on a flashlight, like Olight. Olight is very, very popular, and you know, they have a lot of cool, like, hyped up finishes. This is the Baton 3 Pro that just came out, and copper, of course, and they're very, very easy to use. In terms of operation, they have magnetic charging. I mean, there's a lot of good things to say about a lot of the Olights that come out. There are some bad too. You know, they use proprietary batteries. That's stuff. You know, this isn't really a bagging on companies or anything day. But every company is gonna have their, you know, their positives and their negatives. And really it just comes down to weighing them out and seeing which one, you know, kind of performs better for you or fits all of your criteria. Now, with these flashlights I have on the table, we'll talk about a couple of the brands, or we'll just work our way all the way through them. We'll see where I end up. This is like an impromptu. So, just starting from the left here, this is a Tucson flashlight. A lot of people know Tucson for their knives. A little bit less know them for their pry bars. Yes, they make pry bars. And a whole lot less know them for their flashlights. So all of the Tucson stuff comes straight from China. A lot of stuff, especially in the flashlight world, yes, including Olights, will come straight from China. That's not a bad thing. There's a lot of stuff that comes from China. You know, China's like anywhere else. We, here in the US, we have manufacturers and we have people that make things, and sometimes they don't make things very good. And some of the companies do. Same thing for other countries. So if you think it's from China, it's bad, get yourself out of that mindset. It's not always that way. So, you know, just tidbit of information there. So yes, this is Tucson. It, like I said, not a huge brand for the flashlight world, but this is just to give you ideas of some of the brands that you can, take a look at. And these, to me, these are going to be probably your top most brands in the EDC community right now. Like moving over next, we have the Lumintop. Sorry. Lumintop is definitely one of my favorite brands. This is the FW21 Pro. I also carry the LM10 pretty much every day. I love my LM10. FW21 Pro, this is a killer flashlight. I wouldn't say it's super pocket friendly because you have a pretty big bezel here. Super bright, 10,000 lumens. I mean, it's pretty awesome. It'll hit you for right around, I think it was like $130-ish. I think it's right around there. Don't quote me. It might be more or less, plus or minus. But Lumintop is absolutely phenomenal. Their lights are totally top notch. A lot of their Lumintop lights, you start getting into like the custom world. Like I have a video on this the LM10, where I changed out quite a few things, added some glow vials and whatnot. So Lumintop, I think they are a great brand, especially if you're wanting to break into like the custom world. And honestly, Lumintop's terms of operation are like the way they actually manipulate the lights, pretty close to Olight, but a lot of them do run on Anduril software. And yeah, that's a video for another day. Message me or comment if you want more, more info on Anduril. So next we have the Wurkkos. Now this is the FC11. This guy goes on sale on Amazon pretty frequently, and you'll pick him up for I think I paid right around $20. Wurkkos is great. They have really ultra budget options, but it doesn't feel ultra budget. They do feel nice. They put out a lot of light. Most of them will come with their own rechargeable batteries that, yes, they are replaceable. And I think Wurkkos is great. They come in different sizes too. I can't remember what the name of it. If it hits me, I'll drop it. But they also make lights that are kind of smaller in size, a little bit more EDC friendly. I don't mind a big light. Honestly, if I could pick any lights, or if I had one criteria for every light that I ever purchased, it would have an 18650 battery or higher. Just my 2 cents. So Wurkkos, great. Like I said, very nice budget options. My OCD is kicking in, and I am having to keep fixing that flashlight. I know it's not. I couldn't keep playing with it, because every time I touch one, another one would roll, and I was like, I just got to get this video started. So, sorry, rambling. Wurkkos, amazing. Great budget lights. Like I said, Amazon has great deals on them pretty much all the time. I've done a video on a couple videos on some Wurkkos lights. Check those out if you want to check out Wurkkos. They are, like I said, very budget friendly, and that says enough. But I don't think you sacrifice a lot going with Wurkkos to get that budget friendly flashlight. I think the specs are great. I think they really are pretty good. So next, let's move on to Olight. We talked about this one a little bit. I'm just going to kind of give the little bit of skinny on Olight, or how I feel. Olight is definitely one of my probably top 3 to 5 brands. I say 3 to 5 because when it comes to flashlights, for me, it's really hard to just say these are my top brands. Yeah, it's because everything is so... it's not just a flashlight, it's like one of those things where the more you know about it, kind of like when so let's talk about like pocket knives or guns or anything like that. You can walk into a store and say, okay, I've heard Smith & Wesson, or I've heard Kershaw, or I've heard, all these things, all these brands that you know of, and you actually walk into a store and you see them, and you see maybe a $600 anything. We'll just say a firearm. So you see a gun sitting there, and it looks like the one next to it. One is $300, one is $1,000. Or we take a pocket knife. One is $60, the other one is $300, but they look really similar. So that's kind of where it comes with branding. Branding is so hard. It's so hard because you have custom lights that look so subtle that you wouldn't imagine they're custom. Take a Kluma, for example. A Kluma, you're not going to touch an Kluma for probably less than $400 to $500, and it doesn't look like anything special. It really doesn't. It's not fancy. It's just like, most of the time it's just like tumbled titanium. There's not a bunch of emitters on the top of it like this. I mean, you would look at a flashlight like this that's copper and titanium and go, oh, that's expensive. This was $50. Well, normally they're $100, but I picked it up for $50. I got lucky. But that's what I'm saying. So brands are very hard. Now, if I talk about Olight, Olight is great because they have products, they have flashlights, they have, knives, they have everything, and they have them across all the different budget ranges. And I think that's why Olight is so popular. So I think Olight is a great brand, especially to start out with, because you have 1.5 million different options, finishes, emitter options, temperatures, charging, options. We'll just say options, charging options. There's all kinds of stuff, and the pocket clips are usually hot swappable between a lot of the models. So, in terms of operation, Olight, easy. You click it once to turn it on, click it once to turn it off, click and hold to change between all the brightness settings, double tap for turbo, and click and hold for like 3 seconds and it puts it in lockout mode. You can throw it in your pocket, you're fine. So Olight is probably the magnet. Yeah, there we go. Olight is probably one of the most popular brands because you have a giant array of options. They're very, very easy to use, and they're always coming out with new models, and people like new models. So, yes, Olight, big brand. I do recommend them. We have some good and some bad things. The bad things really just boil down to they like their proprietary batteries. I'm not a huge fan of that. Most of their flashlights come with a 5-year warranty. That's awesome. So, I mean, honestly, if I had anything that I didn't like about Olight, it's going to be the batteries. And, now that I've gone through some of my journey as far as flashlights go, I really wish Olight would start putting out some higher performance options in these body sizes. It seems like they just they make the greatest finishes and they make the most awesome flashlights, but they usually hover around 1,000 to 2,000 lumens, unless you spend, more and buy like a Marauder, which is a significantly bigger light. I don't know. I know Olight's got to have the technology there. And I wish we'd see a little bit more like customization or, power output. That would be great. So moving on, this is Acebeam, and Acebeam is actually a really cool brand. This is the Rider RX, which is cool because it has like a bolt action dealio here. This is a titanium finish with a blue aluminum casing underneath. And actually, these are pretty nice flashlights. And I think normal price on something like this gets close to like $50. And normally on Amazon, you can pick something like this up for significantly less, so like 40 to 60% off if you just keep an eye out. Acebeam is a great brand. They have a lot of cool flashlights out there. They have a lot of really, really friendly budget options. I like Acebeam. I don't think they're bad at all. Whenever you're looking at brands as far as like Acebeam and what was the other one? ThruNite. ThruNite's another one. Brands like Acebeam and ThruNite, and even like Wurkkos, the models are kind of weird, like the model names. It's kind of hard to remember a lot of them. Like the FC11 on this guy right here. I never remember the name of that. But Acebeam is great. A lot of good budget options. Like I said, they're pretty innovative. Like this design here speaks a lot. When's the last time you saw a button or a bolt action flashlight? And it's actually pretty handy. So it doesn't look like it does much, but if you clip them over, it's locked into place. So we're not going to go anywhere. If we click it down, move it out, now you can tail stand, which is actually a big deal for a lot of people. Tail standing is actually a really important thing, especially if you use these for more than just, pocket candy. So Acebeam, great brand. Just to re-clarify, I'm not really going in depth over the flashlights. I'm just kind of touching on brands. I realize now I have 2 Acebeams in this pile, but that's okay. So we'll move on to Raylight. So Raylight, what is that brand? Well, this is actually a great brand. This is about as close as you're gonna get to the custom flashlight world, and not spend a ton of money, in my opinion. JL Hawaii. Ooh, that's making a squeaking noise. JL Hawaii. I can drop links in the description below if anybody wants to know. He sells a lot of cool flashlights and a lot of really good entry-level custom flashlights. And I think Raylight is a great place to start with, custom flashlight world. You get to pick your emitters, you get to pick your finishes, you get to pick all kinds of stuff. And Raylight makes great flashlights, and they're relatively inexpensive. This is the full-size pineapple, and I want to say I spent $80 or $90 for this, and it came with several little goodies. One of them being a charger for the battery, and that's pretty nice to me. Of course, mine is in copper, and they do make these in smaller sizes. Now, one of the big things about these flashlights, click, click, the buttons feel great. Gotta love the buttons. But the other big thing about flashlights like this is, when it comes to emitter, your LED, your actual flashlight portion, you can really tell the difference from when you go to like the Nishias and you move away from the Krees and the other ones. They're all pretty good and they all have their own, ups and downs. But once you get into like the custom flashlight world, and if you decide to do it with the Raylight Pineapple, you definitely will not be disappointed in the least. Raylight Pineapples are such good flashlights. And this is a neutral white color, and the beam on it is just beautiful. I mean, it really is. It's one of the best looking beams that I have out of all my flashlights. And that's why I now have the Raylight Pineapple Mini. Just because I enjoy the Raylight Pineapple so much, I had to buy the Mini just to have them as a set. So yes, Raylight, amazing flashlights. I've never had an issue with any of mine. Just another Acebeam. This is one of Acebeam's newest flashlights. This is the Pocket, and it does 1,000 lumens. And I want to say I spent $20 on that. So that gives you a good idea. Like I said, Acebeam, great lights, very, very, very budget friendly. Okay, moving on. This is made by a company called Eagtac, formerly known as Eagle Tactical. And this is actually a polished titanium flashlight. It does have a little bit of a glow button here in the back. Let you see that there. There you go. So that is definitely cool when you start getting glows. And I really like the Eagtac. This is actually a really, really cool flashlight. This is the D3A. I kind of wish I'd have bought the D3C. I'll probably buy that too. But this guy's cool. It does have an actual beautiful little beam. It's called the Clicky. It is very, very clicky. So this thing is awesome. I have loved my Eagtac flashlights. I like their limited editions more than just their standard flashlights. And everything inside of these guys looks pretty good. The weird thing about these is they have you power it on, and then they also have like twisting functions for really, I'm not a big fan on twist operation, but we're talking about brands, not necessarily operations. So Eagtac, I think, would be kind of a budget to close to the middle of the road. This flashlight, I want to say, ran about $70 ish. And I actually like it a lot. I think the pocket clip has great retention, feels good. It's a little bit sturdier than like your standard Olights. The emitters are very, very nice. You can see we have kind of an orange pill on this reflector on side of there. So Eagtac, great brand. I can't say good enough things about them. But the next one, however, so this is a Mech Army, and Mech Army has some Grail lights for sure. And if you don't know what that is, a Grail light is a very expensive flashlight. That's like, it's one of those end of the road lights. Like once you've kind of gone through your journey and you're on the last few spaces of the Monopoly board, you're like, okay, here we go. And then you roll the dice and you decide to spend a lot of money on a flashlight that you've wanted for a long time. That's a Grail light. So this thing is actually pretty cool. And I had really, really high hopes for it. I'm not going to take this all the way off, but I did run into some issues with him. Some of my threads on the inside of the flashlight, not really done great. So once you take the head off or the back of this off, it's really hard to put back together. And it makes a lot of terrible screeching noises and makes me want to, gouge my ears out. So aside from this specific model, because while I judge brands off of the models I receive, you should not, because there's, no matter how much you spend on a flashlight, you're always going to get one that has a defect. This might just be this one. There's always one. So Mech Army, a little bit more on the expensive side, and they're nothing super crazy. This is a cool light. I think this one was right around $100. Has pretty good, decent output. It does get hot very, very fast. It's got those 4 emitters on the front, and you got a little bit of heat dissipation, knurling, chimping going on here, just to try to keep the heat down. It doesn't do it very well. It does get pretty hot. My biggest thing about the Mech Army lights was I am not a fan of the operation, but that's, it's different for everybody. The button sounds kind of squeaky to me too, and I didn't like that very much. But it could be just, like I said, it could be this specific model. So as far as Mech Army goes, they do make great stuff. I've seen a lot of their lights, and I see a lot of people that carry their lights, and some of the stuff looks absolutely amazing. They have a copper and a brass version of this flashlight, a little bit bigger, and it's up there on my grail list. It's very expensive, but it's gorgeous. I'll buy an Kluma before I buy that one, and then I'll buy that one afterwards. So next, Imalent. Imalent is freaking fantastic. This is the LD70. You can see we have a screen on here, and you can unlock, lock. This is the only one I have on the table that actually has a battery in it, and it's because it's not removable. I don't store my flashlights with batteries in them. But Imalent is a very, very innovative company. I really, really enjoy Imalent's flashlights. This little guy is absolutely amazing. This is the LD70 EDC edition, so it's mini, tiny. And Imalent is, if you don't know who they are, oh god, I can't remember the name of the flashlight, but they make I think it's the world's brightest flashlight. It's like 120,000 lumens. It's something ridiculous. But Imalent makes some monster flashlights. I want to say this one hits like right at, I think it was 4,000 lumens or something. Let's see here. Turn it on. Yeah, 4,000 lumens. So 4,000 lumens in a tiny flashlight. You can see here, this is the kind of what I was talking about. So this light, I think when it's on sale, you can pick it up for right around $50. And this Baton 3 Pro from Olight is going to hit you for like $100. And if we talk about the differences here, this is 1,500 lumens. Yes, it's copper. I love the finish. And no, I'm not complaining, but I'm just giving you an idea. So 1,500 lumens, going to hit you for closer to $100. You can pick up these LD70s for like $50, and they're 4,000 lumens, and they have an LED screen that will tell you what lumens you're at. And if you turn it off, here we go. See, it goes back to what I had it on, but if you triple click, it's going to tell you your battery voltage. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I love Olight, but I feel like they're not being innovative enough. I feel like they're just kind of in a rut. They're just kind of pumping out the same thing over and over again. And being that I have so many flashlights, I am currently looking for new. Impress me. So I won't talk about this brand an awful lot because it's kind of, if I had to rate brands, I would say this is pretty close to a Supreme brand. If you don't know what Supreme is, it's a totally hyped up brand in the clothing community. And pretty much every time something comes out, they sell out. This company is called Fireflies, and pretty similar. It's kind of, I think the issue with Fireflies is they make great stuff, but they don't come out with a lot of it. I think that's kind of what I'm gathering. But this guy's cool. This is a square brass flashlight that is about the size of, it's a little bit, I think it's just a hair bigger than the i3T, just a hair. But I like it because it's brass. The tail switch, very clicky. something you'll learn on your flashlight journey if you are tuning into this, trying to get started on this. Flashlight clickiness is everything. It's everything. Just trust me, it's everything. So, yes, Fireflies makes phenomenal stuff if you can get your hands on anything that they sell. And while it's not crazy expensive, it really isn't. It's really actually pretty inexpensive. It's just, that's the reason why it's so hyped. It's such good stuff. It's very, very cheap. I won't say cheap. It's very inexpensive for what you're getting. It's everything, the high quality is very, very nice. Everything's knocked down very, very good. Even for something so small and simple like this, it's actually kind of intricate. And you got your twist tail cap here on the back. There we go. See, look at that. Look how pretty that is. When I saw this light, I knew I had to have it just because of how unique it looked. And because it's square. I mean, come on. I'm the squarest guy out here. All right, we're pushing towards the end of some of the brands that I would say you could start off with. Now, this is going to be one of those that if you are new to the flashlight world and you are really got it narrowed down to just a couple brands, RovyVon should be one of those. RovyVon makes freaking fantastic flashlights. The prices on them are absolutely incredible. I mean, just phenomenal pricing, really, really and truly. In terms of operation, they are a little bit more, I almost said sophisticated. They're a little more complicated than like your normal Olight. They have a bunch of different flavors as far as Olights go, or excuse me, RovyVons. And they, some of them are pretty crazy, like the Angel Eyes, or you can get the ones that have the little, like they have the UV lights and they have red lights and all kinds of extra stuff built into the actual body of the flashlight. The only thing that ever the only thing that ever turns people off on RovyVons really is going to be the operation. So you have click and hold, and that will initiate a momentary mode. You can double click. That will turn the light on. You click to cycle through all the modes. And then triple click, which is what I just did a second ago on accident, and that turned on our strobe. And you just press and hold to turn it back off. So it seems a little complicated when you first get one in your hand and you start playing with it. It's really not that bad. I was when I first got one, I was like, I am never going to remember how to operate this. But by the time I had my second one, it was easy. Now, the only thing to note is whenever you do start playing around with RovyVon is that some of the lights have a little bit different operation. They change it up ever so slightly for some of the flashlights, but their instruction manual inside the boxes, really, really, really good instructions. Very, very easy. If you've ever seen an Endural instruction manual, you want to just pull your eyes out and throw the instruction manual away, because it's, I swear to you, there's a bat symbol on there, and it looks like a map to Candyland. It's freaking insane. So yes, RovyVon, incredible flashlights. They really, really are. This is a stainless steel model. This is the A2. I have several RovyVons. See, we got the charger built onto the battery. We've got a magnet on the clip itself. Got a lanyard spot here. We've got stainless steel button. You've got a charging indicator. I mean, this pretty much everything packed into a tiny, tiny flashlight. And they usually run about 650 lumens, and you can start picking up RovyVons anywhere from, on sale from 20, 30, 40, 50 up. So RovyVon, great. So the last brand I'm going to talk about today has currently or increasingly getting more and more hype. So this is the only light I have from them, and that's not me saying anything bad about the company. I haven't seen anything I had to have yet. So I only picked this up because $5. This is ThruNite. This is the TI2. And ThruNite, like I said, increasing popularity because they are relatively inexpensive. This is a very, very small flashlight. This is a AAA variant, kind of similar to like the Olight i3Es. Except they're innovative too, and they have actually some really good ideas. And this, if I put this next to an i3E from Olight, it looks almost identical, but we have flats on the side. And oh boy, does that make a difference. It gives you actually something to hold on to when you're twisting this bezel to turn it on and off. And it's not completely round. Yeah. So this, I think this is an i3E beater right here. ThruNite makes good stuff. They now, of course, they do have bigger flashlights. I don't have much experience with ThruNite, but I do know quite a bit about them. And I think anybody looking for a budget option, just to kind of get into the flashlight world, you would definitely love this light for sure, especially if you pick it up on Amazon and it's still only $5. It's 100% worth $5. You could buy 3 of them and it's still worth you know what I mean? It would be like $15. You're still good. So yes, ThruNite, great stuff. Very, very budget friendly. I would say, if anything at all, if I were to rank some of these, just for the person, somebody walking up to me and going, hey, I want to buy my first like EDC flashlight that's not like made by Energizer or something from the Harbor Freight section, and you're wanting to keep it budget friendly. And when we say budget, we're talking about like under, let's say $30. 30. Some people are like $20, but we'll say we'll meet in the middle, 25. So my top suggestions for something in that ultra budget range is going to be like your ThruNite, your Acebeam, Wurkkos definitely for sure. And there's a couple other ones out there, but those are like your 3 from like the bigger names. Once you start hitting like over that $50 threshold, you open up to a ton of brands. You can start picking up, your Lumintops and your Olights. Olight definitely has some under $25. Don't get me wrong. You can pick up i3Ts and i5Ts for under $25. They're just such basic flashlights. 2 modes of operation. They're usually not insanely bright. A lot of people carry that as a primary flashlight, so I'm not dogging it. Do not think I'm dogging that flashlight. Don't. I have a million i3Ts and i5Ts. I do love them. But if you're looking to get into the world of flashlights and you want your first like nice light, I wouldn't start off with an i3T or an i5T, because unless you get like a special model, which you're not going to get under $25, it leaves a little bit to be desired. You want to get something that's kind of going to impress yourself. Like, oh man, I only spent this amount of money on this. Acebeam will absolutely do that to you at the budget range. So will Wurkkos. ThruNite does have some models. As far as ThruNite goes, I would look for some sales to try to get you into that door, get you a nicer one for a little bit cheaper. Midway price. Like I said, once you hit that midway price of like $50 and above, your world just opens. You can start getting into like some nice Lumintops and the Raylights and Hank lights. Like you have full customs like Hanks, and I've got some of those. I couldn't fit it on the table with the rest of these. And once you start getting into the custom world, it's not really necessarily looking at brands anymore. It is, but it ain't. So I just didn't put that out. Custom lights will be a video for another day. So yeah, these are some of my top favorite brands from the flashlight community as of right now, anyways. And we wanted to talk about, kind of like the 101. We're still in the 101 phase of this Flashaholics Anonymous. We want to go over what to look for now, what brands are out there, and these are just a few. Didn't even scratch the surface, but we will. We're going to get there. So we're going to wrap this one up. We just hit 30 minutes. I am totally rambling now. So most people only listen for like the first, I think my analytics say 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah. So if you made it this far, you are the 1%. And the rest of this was pretty much for you. So thank you guys so much for stopping by and checking out this video. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and consider subscribing. I post pretty much every day. Thanks again, guys. Catch you on the next one.